This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 11th of March, 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Breaking news tonight. The first case of the coronavirus in Guyana. The test carried out on samples from the body of a woman who died in the emergency room of the Georgetown Hospital this morning have confirmed that she was a victim of the coronavirus. Multiple sources at the hospital have confirmed this evening. The confirmation makes it the first recorded case of the virus in Guyana, and it came on the same day that government officials and stakeholders hosted a major symposium on the deadly virus. President David Granger is expected to make an address to the nation this evening on the matter. The Georgetown Hospital's emergency unit was put into lockdown early this morning after the woman died. She turned up at the hospital last night with respiratory and other symptoms linked to the coronavirus, but had no flu-like symptoms. During the lockdown this morning, the entire emergency unit was sanitized, and health officials were ordered to put on protective gear. It was only this morning, when the woman passed away, that her family members revealed that she had recently returned from New York, which has several reported cases of the coronavirus. Earlier today, health officials in Guyana spoke about the precautions against the virus.
This is a time for us to take stock of all that we're doing at health facilities, and we really want to partner with the community, with our the people we serve, particularly to try to avoid any kinds of inquisitiveness, crowding up, trying to see for yourself. They say sometimes we're a little bit too fast, and we try to get there when even danger exists. So these are not the times to do that, regardless of corona, but more so since we have this threat on our borders.
Guyana is now the 5th Caribbean country with a confirmed case of the coronavirus. Jamaica confirmed its 2nd case today. More news coming up in a moment.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyoil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyoil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Tired of long lines? Register with MyGTT at mygtt.co.gy. That's mygtt.co.gy to view and pay your bills from anywhere. Enter to win an Amazon gift card worth $25 or a bounty voucher worth 5,000 Guyana dollars when you sign up today. GTT, do more.
Welcome back. The returning officer for Region 4, Clermont Mingo, has been ordered by the Chief Justice to return to the process of tabulating the statements of poll for Region 4 and completing the process before making a declaration. She has nullified the previous declaration, declaring it as unlawful. In a ruling this afternoon, Chief Justice Roxanne George also ordered that the Guyana Elections Commission can only make a final declaration on the completion of the process by the Region 4 returning officer.
It is also ordered that the Guyana Elections Commission cannot lawfully declare the results of the elections of March 2, 2020 unless and until the returning officer or deputy returning officer for District 4 complies with and or ensures compliance with the provisions of Section 84.1 of Chapter 103. Therefore, an injunction is granted restraining the returning officer of District 4 from in any manner whatsoever declaring the votes recorded for each list of candidates for District 4 before complying with or ensuring the compliance with the process set out in Section 84 of Chapter 103. That injunction is now made final.
Chief Justice George ordered that the process begins tomorrow from 11 a.m., but she noted that it will be up to the returning officer to decide whether he will start the process all over again or continue it from where it was suspended.
The returning officer or deputy returning officer for District 4 are to commence compliance with Section 84(1) of the Representation of People Act, Chapter 103, no later than 11 hours on Thursday, March 12, 2020. That in the interest of transparency, but taking into consideration the need for urgency, the returning officer and the deputy returning officer for District 4 is to decide whether the process of ascertaining the total votes cast in favor of each list in the district by adding up the votes recorded in favor of the list in accordance with the statements of poll should be restarted or continued. It is also ordered that this order is to be served in counsel for the parties and is to be deemed service on the parties.
On the issue of verification, the Chief Justice said that is not catered for in the law, and if there are issues following a declaration, the law is clear on the steps that will have to be taken after that. The attorney for the Guyana Elections Commission, Senior Counsel Neil Boston, said while he is disappointed by the decision somewhat, the Elections Commission is ready to move forward with the orders of the court.
It was a bit disappointed, but we have achieved something. We are going back to CARICOM and we are going to get the process moving. And then another declaration will be made. That's all I wish to say.
Mr. Boston said CARICOM has no plans to appeal the decision of the court.
We are not thinking about appeal. We are not thinking about appeal. We are ready to roll the process.
Mr. Boston, the judge has said that all parties should be reasonable in this case. Do you suppose that would include your client?
They have not acted unreasonable. They have not acted unreasonable. They will continue to act reasonable.
There was some specific reference made to verification. Your response to that, how the Chief Justice dealt with that issue?
No, well, there's no such thing as verification. It's a question you calling out from your statement to poll, and then either what they have tally with what you have, and that's it. The verification is used loosely.
The case was taken before the court by the People's Progressive Party Civic. The attorney for that party, Anil Nandlal, said his party has been vindicated by the decision.
We knew that the process was not complied with. We knew what the legislation provides. We knew who were supposed to be present. And we knew how the process was to be conducted. And it was not done in accordance with the law. And we have been doing this year in, year out, elections after elections, and we can't seem to get it right. This action was completely unnecessary.
Noting that time is of the essence, Mr. Nandlal said that while it will be up to the returning officer to decide on whether to continue the process from where it was suspended or start over, he is hoping that it will continue from the point where it was stopped.
My personal preference would have been for him to resume where he left off, because a lot of work was done, and that did not evoke any controversy. So I think all parties accepted the number of boxes that were verified so far. I hope that the returning officer resumes rather than starts all over again. Hopefully now one can only trust the RO will carry out his instructions and his duties and obligation in accordance with law. Let us hope that the statements of poll have not been tampered with. The building has been under surveillance. We're locked out of the building, so I don't know what is happening with the statements of poll.
And the Chief Justice in her ruling this afternoon also admonished the political players to be responsible for their actions. She reminded them that the staff at the Elections Commission are humans and they must be allowed to do their work in a conducive atmosphere. Now back to that CARICOM case. Attorney at law and candidate for the APNU-AFC, Darren Wade, today said that the coalition has always made it clear that it is the Guyana Elections Commission that is in charge of the elections process and not any political party. He said the Chief Justice's decision has supported that fact. The Chief Justice, while nullifying the declaration which was made by the returning officer and ordering him to return to the process of tabulation, made it clear that it is the returning officer who will be in charge and who will decide on the process and how that process is done. Attorney Wade said the president has always stayed clear of interfering in the work of the Elections Commission.
Well, as the president has always been saying, that this process is a CARICOM process, non-involvement. And quite clearly, Mr. Ford, our attorney and candidate, has been saying also that there's no need for verification in the process by CARICOM under Section 84.1, and the Chief Justice made that clear. So it's non-involvement, it's process is CARICOM process. The discretion is by the RO, the returning officer. So CARICOM will have to do the necessary tabulation and so forth, as the Chief Justice rightfully mentioned.
The young attorney said it must be made clear that it is the Guyana Elections Commission that is at all times in charge of the process.
There are two obligations the RO has. One, to tabulate, and secondly, to declare. After that, if the PPP wants, they could file an election petition if they're not so satisfied. This process is not Barris Jack Dio's process. This process is not the observer's process. This process is not the diplomatic corps process. This process is CARICOM process through the returning officer. The legislation is clear who is required to be there. Section 86, in relation to persons who are duly appointed, for candidates who are also duly appointed, the agents, the counting agents who are duly appointed by the party election agent, which must satisfy Section 24 rather, of the Representation of People Act.
On the issue of whether the returning officer should start the tabulation process from where it was suspended or start from the very beginning, Attorney Wade said while CARICOM is in charge of the process, the situation that transpired the first time around must be taken into consideration.
Well, as I mentioned, it's a process for CARICOM to determine. Certainly what transpired at CARICOM, the mayhem and the confusion, whereby CARICOM, the RO, stopped the process. That was surely, for me, as an attorney, I believe that was an unlawful enterprise by the mayhem and the confusion and bullying, the bullyism that was done primarily by the PPP in the process. So quite clearly, Mr. Mingo, the returning officer, was acting lawfully by using the spreadsheet. He was acting lawfully up to that point. It's after stopping the process, days when the issue lies.
Meanwhile, on the other side, the PPP candidate and attorney Sanjeev Tatidin said he would have some concerns about the statements of Paul that would be in the possession of the Elections Commission over the past days.
Well, we haven't been able to see the statement of Paul since Thursday night when everybody was evicted from the building. We'll find out when we get there now what state they're in and what it is. But we can only do what's in front of us. So we now move forward.
CARICOM's attorney Neil Boston has said those documents and all CARICOM's documents have always been properly secured. President David Granger this afternoon welcomed the CARICOM heads of government team to Guyana, headed by Barbados' Prime Minister and CARICOM chairperson Mia Mottley. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett, Grenada's Prime Minister Keith Mitchell, and St. Vincent Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves are the other members of the team. The team met and held discussions first with the President at his office. They were later scheduled to meet with the opposition leader at his office. A press conference is scheduled for tomorrow morning. Last week, the Prime Minister of Barbados spoke to President David Granger and the opposition leader Barris Jack Dio and told them both that CARICOM stands ready to assist. Guyana held regional and national elections last Monday. This afternoon, the Chief Justice ruled a return to the tabulation process for Region 4 after declaring that the initial declaration was unlawful. President Granger has said he will not interfere in the work of the Guyana Elections Commission, and it is the Commission that must be allowed to do its work. Let's tell you now that the British government has issued a call for the President of Guyana to preserve the principle of free, fair, and credible elections. In a statement last evening, the British Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said the United Kingdom is concerned about the events in Guyana following the elections. The UN Foreign Secretary said allegations of electoral fraud and premature declarations of victory prior to the completion of a credible process pose a great threat to the democratic principles of Guyana. He also issued a call on President Granger to ensure that proper procedures are followed before embarking upon a transition of government. President Granger has made it clear in a number of statements that it would be unlawful for him to get involved in the work of the Guyana Elections Commission or to give directions to the Guyana Elections Commission. He has reminded that the Guyana Elections Commission is an independent constitutional body and he will not interfere in its work. Some observers and diplomatic representatives were reportedly pressing the president to get involved with GCOM and give directions to the agency. The president refused to interfere. In the courts now, almost 3 years after facing a fraud charge for obtaining $4.5 million on the false pretense, the former Registrar of Deeds, Azina Baksh, was today found guilty. However, she will serve no jail time. Instead, she has been ordered to repay the $4.5 million to the state of Guyana. She has to pay at least $1 million before the end of today and has 3 months to pay off the remaining balance. The case was heard by Magistrate Lerone Daly. The court found that Ms. Baksh unlawfully paid herself gratuity in the sum of $4.5 million, knowing that she was not a contracted employee at the Deeds and Commercial Registry, and therefore was not entitled to gratuity since she was on the pension plan. The court heard that the money was paid between May 2014 and January 2017. The evidence revealed that Baksh, while being employed as a Judicial Service Commission appointee, placed the $4.5 million into her Scotiabank account from the Ministry of Finance while pretending to be a Deeds and Commercial Registry contractual employee. It was back in April 2017 the discovery was made by the Ministry of Legal Affairs and the probe was launched. That probe led to the criminal charge being filed. Across the Region is coming up next.
They've made a positive impact on the heavy-duty transportation industry in Guyana since they've arrived. Guyanese are amazed at their power, durability, efficiency, and superior handling capabilities. These are brand new trucks, manufactured in partnership with German, Italian, and French companies. They have a powerful reputation for operating under very adverse Guyanese conditions and come with full after-sales service and spare parts. They're the most sought-after trucks today, with over 500 units in Guyana, and they're available in over 100 countries, including South America and the Caribbean. Be smart. Buy brand new ST Howo trucks today. Call 608-4998 and arrange for an inspection at ST Truck Guyana Incorporated, Block B, Public Road, Covenant, East Bank, Demerara.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways. Knowing that's what being a man is all about, and ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
Falls, a trademark of China's Zhanghao Incorporated, located at Land of Canaan, East Bank, Demerara, was incorporated in April of 2013, with over $10 billion Guyana dollars invested in a state-of-the-art 100,000 barrel fuel storage facility, a modern service station, an office complex, and a modern wharf that can berth international vessels. Having no association with any other fuel company, Falls imports its own fuel, which meets quality specifications, has all the legal permits, and is in compliance with international requirements. Its bulk facility can load 8 trucks simultaneously at a rate of 1,000 liters per minute, while the service station can service 12 cars at a time using computerized fuel pumps, which can facilitate the use of ATM cards. Through its professional team of mostly Guyanese, Falls wholesales and retails fuels to the public, including farmers and miners, and will continue to positively contribute to Guyana by providing quality products, service, and attractive prices. Try Falls today for all your fuel needs.
Across the region right now, St. Lucia's Prime Minister Alan Chastanet has announced that the International Monetary Fund will hold a conference call with regional countries on Monday to discuss the economic impact of the coronavirus, which has killed more than 4,000 people globally and is posing economic problems for small island developing states. In a statement to the Parliament on the islands, as well as the region's preparation and strategies for dealing with the virus for which there is no vaccine, the Prime Minister also disclosed that his Minister of Tourism, who is also the chairman of the Barbados-based Caribbean Tourism Organization, was meeting with the Caribbean Hotel Tourism Association. He said they have been working for the last 2 weeks to put together a Caribbean tourism conference with the World Tourism Organization, the World Travel and Tourism Council, and airlines. One person has been killed and more than 40 injured in a collision between two trains on Mexico City's underground system. It is not clear yet what caused the collision, but footage shows one of the trains mounted on top of the other. The crash happened at around 11:30 last evening. Mexico City's underground is one of the busiest worldwide with 1.6 billion passengers every year. It has 12 lines and 195 stations. Mexico City Mayor said that 25 people had been taken to the hospital, but that none of them had sustained serious injuries. And finally tonight, international news. The coronavirus outbreak has been labeled a pandemic by the World Health Organization. The WHO chief said the number of cases outside China had increased 13-fold over the past 2 weeks. He said he was deeply concerned by the alarming levels of inaction over the virus. A pandemic, as we told you earlier, is a disease that is spreading in multiple countries around the world at the same time. However, the WHO representative said that calling the outbreak a pandemic did not mean the WHO was changing its advice about what countries should do. He called on governments to change the course of the outbreak by taking urgent and aggressive action. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. Gordon Mosley reporting.